Hi, I'm Maisie and you're watching Coast Community News 5 at 5, July 9th, 2021. Coming up this week, COVID lockdown extended for the coast, local protest over the vaccine rollout, MPs say no to council's rate rise, and a tale of love in lockdown. Lockdown restrictions for the coast have been tightened just shy of 2 weeks after they were first introduced. We spoke to Parliamentary Secretary of the Central Coast, Adam Crouch, about the whole host of new restrictions and his thoughts on the idea of a coast exclusion from the Greater Sydney lockdown.
It's a very timely announcement, David, very upfront. As the Premier said, she doesn't sugarcoat things and she doesn't hide them. The reality is what's happening in Sydney is of great concern. And look, I know a lot of Central Coast locals have been frustrated because the Central Coast, along with other regions, has been included in this lockdown. But that's also because of our close proximity to the Sydney metro area and Sydney region. Look, David, we still have thousands of people moving backwards and forwards between the Central Coast and Sydney every single day. And what we've also seen is a very large number of community transmissions, which the Premier and Dr. Chant have articulated as to why that is such a concern, because of the ease of transmission, David. And the reality is that it's not essential. Browsing in a shop is not an essential service. Getting your food and getting the things you absolutely have to have are essential. And Dr. Chant couldn't have made it any clearer this morning. In fact, you should even only send one person, if possible, to go and do that essential shopping, because moving around in these areas is how this virus is being transmitted. So look, it needs to absolutely be only essential services that you're going to be, food, obviously clothing, etc. That is what people need to be following. Again, Dr. Chant was crystal clear on this morning. This is not a time to be wandering around thinking about what you may or may not want to buy at the shops. You go and you do your shopping that's essential and you leave and you come back home again.
Police responded in numbers to a protest against mandatory vaccination for aged care workers in Erina on Monday morning. A 27-year-old man was taken into custody as the Central Coast remains in lockdown.
A Central Coast protester taken away by police after rallying for medical freedom. The 27-year-old man fined for breaching public health orders and for failing to move along. But the man was not alone, as calls against the no jab, no job policy intensify after the federal government made it compulsory for aged care workers to get vaccinated.
The government's role is not to protect our health. The government's role is to protect our rights. It is our responsibility to protect our health.
Others simply protesting the vaccine itself.
It's got a very high adverse reaction rate. As you can see from this sign, there's been 0 deaths in Australia in 2021 from COVID. There's been 335 deaths from the vaccine. This is not good enough. Where there's risk, there must be choice. Yeah!
It comes as 8.2 million Aussies have been given the vaccine, 443,000 of those from the aged care sector. The Morrison government has given those working in the industry up until mid-September to get the first dose. However, as reported last week, the Central Coast is in short supply, with local clinics booked out up until August.
There's drugs and other options available that there's been peer-reviewed studies saying ivermectin is extremely effective in both preventing contracting COVID-19 and also in reducing its severity.
And now over to David for more news on council.
Yes, Council's Administrator Rick Hart's appeal to Central Coast politicians of all persuasions to support a push for the region's 15% rate rise to become permanent has fallen, surprisingly, on deaf ears. Hart said it was necessary for the rise to continue beyond the 3-year term set by the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal, IPART, if Council is to carry out its long-term financial plan, and that he will seek an urgent meeting with IPART to put Council's case. But Shadow Minister for the Central Coast, David Harris, and Labor MPs supported the approach taken by IPART in setting a 3-year limit. And with renewed calls for a demerger, referendum gaining traction across parts of the community, Central Coast newspapers have launched their own survey asking, should Council be demerged? Our readers are invited to vote once on there by visiting our website. And as a result of the health orders, all public events have been either cancelled or rescheduled. This week, the Five Lands Walk has announced a spring walk on September 25 on the equinox. The Mangrove Mountain markets, the Woy Woy markets have announced cancellations, as have popular markets around the coasts. The Art House's performance of Carmen has been cancelled, and this weekend's Pearl Beach Walk for Health has also been delayed. All amateur sporting events have been cancelled, and major attractions such as the Reptile Park have closed during the lockdown. So it looks like nature is due to be the prime source of exercise and entertainment, albeit with only 2 people at a time. And in that vein, the Whale Highway is busier than the M1 by a long shot, and Ronnie Ling and local charter boat operator Skipper Jones have started a whale sighting page. Check out some of these great visions from Terrigal of these majestic giants. Back to you.
Hugo, the Australian Reptile Park's resident endangered Galapagos tortoise, will finally find true love when his German girlfriend, Estrella, makes it out of quarantine in mid-September. The Reptile Park has been searching for Hugo's perfect match for years and has finally been able to announce that Estrella has finally arrived after travelling all the way from Zoo Rostock in Germany. Estrella was due to arrive in early 2020, but due to complications in travel and COVID-19, it was put off until she could safely reach our shores.
Galapagos tortoises in Australia, so to work with them is very, very special. And later on in the year, we're actually importing a female from Germany. So after 68 years, he's finally going to have a female tortoise. A girlfriend. Finally. A girlfriend after 68 years. 68 years is a long time for anyone, so no doubt he's very excited.
Yes, and Hawks still in lockdown. So Nicola Mcdermott has once again created athletics history. The Tascott local set a personal record at Bohausskolan in Stockholm on Sunday, July 4. McDermott set a PB after breaking the high jump record, clearing 2 metres and 1 centimetre at the Diamond League in Stockholm. And in a social media post on Monday, McDermott said she could not thank everyone more for helping this dream become reality. Closer to home, a nasty fall at the Scone Cup Carnival last year left Gosford jockey Jenny Duggan with multiple fractures. But despite the close call, the local hoop is back, riding 2 winners over the last weekend. Here is our reporter Sky Hull with more details.
After surviving a horror fall last year in Scone, Gosford jockey Jenny Duggan has got back in the saddle.
Obviously, after a race fall, you'd never know how you're going to feel again when you get back on the horse, but it was just like it never happened. It was amazing.
The 42-year-old returning to the winner's circle on the weekend, not once, but twice.
Just amazing. Like you say, coming down the straight, you get that feel of a horse when they're winning, and you kind of think to yourself, oh, well, this is happening, but how is it happening? And I just got closer and closer, and I was so tired and my lungs were burning. But it was just amazing. It was that feeling and coming over the line. Like, the first winner was a 9-year-old gelding who's had 57 starts, mind you. So that was quite hilarious to actually get a win on that horse, because all the other jockeys were taking the mickey out of me behind the gate, saying, oh, only 57 starts today, but, there they go.
The weekend ahead looks to be a cool and wet one, making it perfect weather to be stuck in lockdown. Starting off on the coast, where it'll be 15 and wet on Saturday, with a low of just 8 degrees. It'll be cloudy, with southwesterly winds ranging from 20 to 30 k's, tending southerly in the afternoon. On Sunday, the high will be 17 with showers throughout the day, and the low will be 8, and also a southwesterly wind from 15 to 20 k's in the morning is expected. Moving to Mangrove Mountain now, where it'll be wet all weekend as well. On Saturday, the high will be 12 with a low of 7, and on Sunday, the top will be 14 with a low of 6. The wet weather looks like it'll be sticking around till mid next week, with showers predicted for Monday and Wednesday. Back to you, Maisie.
Thanks, Harry. All of these stories and thousands more can be found on our website or in this week's Coast Community News, Coast Community Chronicle and the Pelican Post. Remember to subscribe to all of our socials for updates throughout the week, and keep an eye out for Sky Hull's daily video updates online and on our social media pages. We leave you today with a taste of the latest performance of local duo The Little Quirks and their version of the ABBA tune SOS. which is kind of appropriate given the current circumstances. We hope you have a great and safe weekend, and we will see you next week where I'll be off celebrating football coming home. Bye bye.